PD finally decided to shake things up, and this week in Daily Race C at Suzuka we got dynamic weather and a lineup of custom-built cars, the old-school classic builds from 90s and early 2000s. And this is actually a really good combination, they really nailed the vibe with this one. That said, there is actually a pretty big issue with cars' balance. Some of the cars are lightning fast in the straights, while others shine in the corners. The result, if someone is really that quick in the straight line, it's basically a rocket, there is almost no chance of overtaking unless they make a big mistake. So it just creates more chaotic moments, and it often leads to traffic jams through the twisty sections of the track, where passing is almost impossible. I gotta say that I do love the concept, and I gotta give PD props for taking this bold step. The execution could have definitely used some refinement, and in this video I'm going to show you two races that played out in completely different ways, just to give you a taste of the range of what you can actually expect out of this combination. So finally, let's begin. Yeah. What is this? The thing not much faster, it's like it's a rocket. But in the corners, oh man, this is going to be terrible. I can't do anything about it, it's just... Oh no. This is the worst. You can't have the cars like that. It just doesn't work. And this is what I meant when I said the cars feel completely different. Some handle corners way better while others dominate on the straights. In this one, I really try to keep it clean, but honestly, it's almost impossible with how these cars behave. And on top of that, I started picking up so much speed on the straight that I nearly missed the whole corner. And you can really start to see the massive difference it makes when it comes to straight line speed. Now let's look at the speed. Let's have a look at the gap actually. It was 2 seconds. Now it's 1. But I have to brake before 130R. I can't stop. Well, actually, yes. Let's try minus. I think Mano has very similar issues. Like car working in some areas, but in others it's like terrible. And this actually ended up causing some issues, not just for me, but also for the other drivers behind me as well. It was almost impossible for them to overtake me in the corners, and I had so much better straight line speed that even if they got past me, I would just take the position back. There really wasn't much that they could have done in that situation, and it ended up creating a big train of cars just stuck behind me. And on top of that, I really had to avoid using the curbs because this car was just bouncing all around the place. Eventually, it turned into, well, a big pile of cars in a hairpin, which is usually not ideal. So, yeah, it created some chaotic moments, as you can probably see in this video. So, the car just wasn't faster. It was actually a rocket on the straight. Then, when I saw a small incident in front of me, I really tried to use it to my advantage. Too fast for this. Too fast, no handling. And just like that, I kept going, but the leader was pulling away, which of course wasn't surprising given how poor my cornering speed was. And you can see, once again, I created a little train of cars behind me with actually no chance that they could actually overtake me. But, of course, this car had incredible straight line speed, so I really tried to make the most out of it by, well, actually staying close to these guys in front and closing the gap. Look at this. I need to brake. Okay. Again. But this is not even a competition. What? And then he's way faster than me. I understand why we don't have any DR updates. Not even a competition. But after that, Manu managed to overtake me in the twisty sections of the track. I don't even know how he did it, but I guess that car, or the car that he was driving, had much better cornering, but terrible straight line speed. Still, it didn't mean much since my car had very strong straight line speed. Again, it was actually pretty easy to take the position back. We went back and forth for just about 2 laps, playing this little game until he got caught up in an incident and got overtaken by another driver. That's pretty much it for him. Meanwhile, I still had to manage my own race. Once again, I ended up creating a big traffic jam behind me, and eventually I decided to pit since we had one mandatory stop. But the drivers behind me had already pitted earlier. Naturally, they got the jump on me through the pits. At this point, it really wasn't much of a fight. It was more about bringing it home and using the straight line speed as my advantage. And that's exactly what I did. I crossed the finish line and secured that P7. Definitely not the result that I was hoping for, but now things are about to change. In the next race, we've got dynamic weather, and by dynamic, I mean heavy rain. And this one is a must-watch, because whether you pit early or late can make a huge difference on your overall position. And I think it's finally time that we get into it. Okay, full wet tires. That was the right decision. So, let's see. First one. Ooh. Puddles. Let's avoid the puddles. Use higher gear. Ooh. Higher gears, I guess. This race was completely different from the last one. I had to be super careful with my braking points since it was the first time in the rain with this car. It was tough figuring out where to brake, what to do, just timing it out and just getting into a rhythm. And with the rain not letting up, the challenge was only about to get harder. Like I mentioned before, it's really easy to make a mistake in these conditions. But interestingly, the outside of the track, where usually there is no rubber, usually has more grip. So racing in the wet can be quite brutal, but honestly, it also makes for a really fun and rewarding experience. Oh, we got a big moment there. I think I'm going to need a radar. different lines, I guess. I'm just trying to find the breaking points. I guess we can use some of these curbs, but not all of them. I think it's better to go on the outside. Slightly wider lines. Even changed my fuel map. Just like in the previous race where I had less cornering speed but better straight line speed, this time it was the car in P1 that just wasn't moving around in the corners. It really slowed us down. Still, it was actually a solid challenge trying to close the gap and find the line where I could overtake. That part is never easy, especially in the wet. And as I mentioned earlier, the usual dry lines don't work well in the rain. The lines that are normally unused, where there is no rubber laid down, actually offer better grip. I really tried to take advantage of those alternative lines and find a better way through the pack. But as always in the rain, one small mistake and it's pretty much all over. Wider lines, just wider lines. Sorry, didn't mean to do it. Side by side. No! He's gonna... Wow, there is more grip on the outside. There's actually way more grip on the outside. It's still pouring rain. But I think I'm going to take that one. But let's quickly jump back to the moment that pretty much decided this race. Most of the guys at the back decided to pit in lap 1. And I'll come back to this later to show you exactly how much of a difference does it make. But now let's go back to my own race. As I started catching up to P1, you can clearly see the differences, just like in the previous race. His cornering was definitely much slower, while I was faster through the middle section of the track, especially in the corners. And once again, we really started pushing it and seeing if there is any way that one of us can get the most out of this situation. He's just faster on the straights. Yeah, look at this. There is no way. And there is more grip on the outside. Okay. A little bit more grip, not like there is much more. Okay. Ooh. Look at him go. Okay, keep it. But now let's really go back to what makes this race winnable or not. In general, you want to pit early because Gran Turismo has this odd catch-up effect that tends to help the cars behind when the rain stops or even just eases off slightly. You can clearly see this in the race. Same corner, same lap, but the guys who pitted on lap 1 were just about 10 to 20 seconds behind me, and their racing line looked a little bit darker. That means they were running on the part of the track with more grip, which of course means less water. So I was essentially cleaning up the track for them, or it should work in that way, but unfortunately in GT7 it doesn't work in that way. Usually when the rain stops, there is almost automatical racing line developing. And unfortunately this just gave them a noticeable pace boost. They could push harder, get better lap times in, and manage their pace more efficiently. That's exactly why they pitted early. And that's why you should pit early in these conditions. I gave it everything I had in this situation, but there really wasn't much more that I could have done. The difference was just too big. I had been leading the race, and by lap 9, the weather kept shifting. It was always some changeable conditions. As the rain started to ease off, I finally made my mandatory stop. But when I came out of the pits, the gap was clear. I was down in P7. And from that point, I really tried to push just to see how much ground I could recover. And, well, you can see it for yourself. Look at the gap now. Yeah, look at the gap now. This game, You know what happens when it's raining? Usually the cars at the back start to catch up. Not because they are faster. Sometimes they are faster. But most of the time it means that they have better conditions. So the track is artificially drying itself. Ooh, okay. That's a big one. I'm going to take at least P6 here. I guess this is going to be a lesson learned. Bit early. Yeah. See, now it's 10.9 seconds because I had better track conditions. It's not supposed to be like that, but I guess now you understand how it works.